Can I start by asking you how you're doing, especially when news breaks of yet another unarmed young Black man who loses his life in a controversial crime?
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to know what he went through um, as a young man and what his family is going through. It's very, very heartbreaking. And so the first week that it came out, I wasn't even able to do any interviews. I wasn't even able to talk about it because it bothered me so much. And so this week I feel a little better about things, and I'm able, in a better headspace, and I'm able to talk about it now. But it's very disturbing to know that um, still in America, still in the United States, people are comfortable with shooting and killing African Americans and people of color, and nobody was held accountable prior to the arrest.
And as a mother of someone, now 8 years since the death of Trayvon, what do you draw on for strength? I mean, there are two issues for you. You lost your son, period, right, as a mother. And then number two, there was this massive, massive media groundswell around it, as some expect will happen now with Ahmaud Arbery's case. Where do you draw on your strength to just cope?
Well, at first, when it first happens, you feel really all alone. You feel like it's just you and it's just your family that this has happened to. But once the state, the county, the country, people start rallying around you, it really lifts you up with the support. You never forget about what happened, because they're not going to be able to ever in life forget about what happened. But it does help to know that people are fighting for your child that they didn't even know. I still have my bad days, and I'm not afraid to say that I still have bad days. But at the same time, I do my part in what I need to do to help the injustice, the racial profiling, the discrimination, the senseless gun violence, all of those things. I do my part. And so I just encourage people to do their part. I mean, do something other than just say that's a sad story. You have to do something to participate and to make this world a better place. It's very sad for African Americans and people of color when you see tragic incidents like this happen in a community and nobody is being arrested.
It's almost as though, Sabrina, you've got the playbook of how this all unravels in real time when you least expected this to happen in your life. And now Wanda Cooper Jones, who is Ahmaud Arbery's mother, is just in the beginning stages. What is the advice that you have for her as she embarks on this journey she did not invite?
I would tell her to make sure that she's staying connected to positive people and that are helping her. You're going to hear a lot of negative things. She needs to stay away from those negative people with their negative thoughts. She has to surround herself with positive family members, positive friends, people that's going to encourage her and lift her up. That's one thing. That's just to keep her head right, because she has to make sure she keeps her head right. So once she does that, she has an attorney. She needs to follow the lead of the attorney. The attorney is going to tell her what she needs to do on the legal aspect of everything. But when she goes back home and there's no attorney and there's nobody there, she needs to make sure that she's surrounded by strong people and praying people.
I don't think it's any secret that once the case begins to build, there will be those who support the prosecution and there will be those who support the defense, and they are polarized. And it is very, very heavily charged, especially in a case that has such a racial component. What shocks me, however, is how those on the other side will go after you, a grieving mother. And is there some advice that you can give to Ahmaud Arbery's mother regarding what she's going to face in that silo of this new life of hers?
Well, those are not her supporters, so she really shouldn't listen to them. You have a choice. You can either read comments and listen to negative people, or you can ignore them. And I would simply tell her to just ignore that. Ignore that her son was a bad person and that's why this happened to her. Ignore all of those things. Ignore the fact that people are going to say he caused his own death, and how could that be when he didn't shoot a gun? A lot of people want to make this a black and white thing. It's not about being black and white, because there are clearly some white people that know that this is not the right thing to do, which is to get a gun and chase somebody with a gun and shoot them down. You have black people that know that that's wrong, and you absolutely have white people. So if we say that this is a black and white thing, then people are just going to pick sides. No, I'm asking them to pick right and wrong. Right is right and wrong is wrong.
Given what we've seen in the past, there have been riots, there has been damage, there has been death. What do you want to say to the public at large about how to handle this case?
I usually tell the public at large to follow the lead of the family. If they're saying that we need to protest, then that's what we need to do. We need to protest. If they're saying that we need to write letters, if we need to call the governor, call the mayor's office, call the DA office, a lot of times people start doing their own thing, and then we're all over the place. I would suggest that they come as a collective body and follow the lead, like I said, of the parents and the attorney.
I saw, Sabrina, a quote from you at one point where you said, when Trayvon died, I did not want to become the spokesperson for my son. And yet you harnessed a terrible tragedy and you have really turned it into a movement. You started a foundation, the Trayvon Martin Foundation. You're running for office in Florida. Congratulations. Can you tell me what that journey has been like?
Initially, I can certainly say that I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to participate in anything. I didn't want to be involved. I just wanted all of this to go away. But of course, I couldn't make it go away. I wanted to make sure that even though Trayvon was not here to speak for himself, that he still had me. He still had his dad to speak on his behalf. And so once I started doing that, I guess I can't give up now. I'm already in, and we work through the Trayvon Martin Foundation, and through that foundation, we make sure that we're reaching out to families that are victims of senseless gun violence, that we're trying to make sure that the laws are amended as far as gun violence is concerned and gun ownership. I have the Circle of Mothers coming up, where I reach out to mothers who lost a child through senseless gun violence. And it's about us healing. It's about us being empowered and educating ourselves and bringing our strength back, because you feel weak when something like this happens. You feel hopeless and you feel helpless. And so we just want to impart some of that back into the moms and make sure that they're standing up straight and they can hold their head up straight. They can fix their crown and they can move on, because we are the glue that holds the family together. So I'm excited about running for office. I'm running for office in Miami-Dade County as a commissioner of District 1. It's the first level of politics. We'll see if I ever run for anything else, but it's a challenge. It's challenging right now. I actually worked for Miami-Dade County for 24 years prior to Trayvon being shot and killed. I only retired from that position because I had other work to do.
Sabrina, I don't know if most Americans think about their personal circumstances, but for me, I have two teenage sons, one turning 13, the other one 14 and a half. And I don't think twice about them going down the street to walk the dog, to go to a park, other than the crimes that you hear about on television, like being abducted or a car accident. But I don't think of them being targeted or looking suspicious. And that is an entirely different experience for my Black fellow American mothers.
That's absolutely correct, Ashley. And it's because your sons are not persons of color. Had they been persons of color, if they've been African American, they definitely would have a problem with walking down the street, walking a dog. They have problems with not only black on black crime, but also police brutality and being shot and killed by a neighborhood watch person or just by an average everyday citizen. We do have to worry about that, and we do worry about our sons being shot and killed in all aspects. So it's something that a lot of people don't have to worry about, but people of color definitely have to worry about. We have to be concerned with our kids because people are comfortable with shooting and killing our kids and not being held accountable.